This podcast is hosted on podhome.fm, the most modern podcast hosting platform. Podhome offers unlimited episodes and podcasts, and unlimited use of Podhome AI, which generates transcripts, clips, chapters, title suggestions, show notes, and much more. And all of that for just $15.99 a month or $185 per year. That's a steal. So go to podhome.fm and start your 30-day trial now. And enjoy the show with Joe.
Transmitting live from the Asylum Studios deep in the bowels of Southwest Texas. It's the Joe Rooz Show. The show where we talk about anything and everything. Where nothing is sacred, nothing is watered down, and nothing is PC.
All righty. Well, hey, folks. This is Joe Rooz, and it is great to be with you once again, transmitting live tonight at the Asylum, and of course, as always, doing the very best we can to bring you the best quality talk radio we can muster without all the bluster. Welcome to the folks. Welcome to the folks show. Welcome to the show, folks. Okay. Well, we are having a rough start here today. This is very, very interesting for me because we don't usually have these little hiccups and little. Well, that's not true. If you've been watching the show long enough, you know that I'm a disaster, a walking disaster when it comes. I always said that if there wasn't some kind of a technical problem along the way, it's not a show that I'm doing. It never fails. It never fails. But we're good. We're good to go. And I hope you guys are ready for a really great conversation. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to move up quickly while others work just as hard and never seem to get ahead? It's a great question. It's a great observation. Well, tonight we're going to be talking careers, leadership, workplace strategy, office politics, and the systems behind professional success. But of course, before we get into that, we're going to take care of some of the usual housekeeping that we normally would do. So if you would, please head over to our website, joerooz.com. That's joerooz.com. And when you get over there, take a look at the contact section. It's in the pancake in the upper right corner over there somewhere. Open that thing up, open up the web form, send us over a message, let us know whatever's on your heart, whatever's on your mind, any questions, comments, cares, concerns that you might have. Maybe you have a complaint. You really shouldn't, by this point, have any complaints whatsoever, but you might. You can always send that over to us, and we'll give it the just attention that it deserves. You could also send us any requests for a particular guest, maybe, or a subject you'd like us to discuss on the show. Love to hear from you guys on those things. Now, if you're anything like me, you cannot stand using web forms. Why? CAPTCHAs. They drive me crazy. Match the buses and get the crosswalks and the stairs and all that other bullcrap. If you don't want to use that, if you don't want to deal with that, just use the email address, info@joerooz.com. That's info@joerooz.com. Another great idea is to use the comment section down below on Rumble. It's open to you. On YouTube, it should be open to you. Even though I don't know why you're still watching the show on YouTube. But if you're on YouTube, you can use that too. We'll get to it eventually. But plenty of ways to reach us, plenty of ways to let us know what you're thinking, and we would love to hear from you guys. All right. Also, please don't forget that this is a live show, weeknight, 7 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. And also we have our Sunday show every Sunday afternoon at 2 p.m. Central Time, 3 p.m. Eastern. So plenty of ways to check us out there as well. So we look forward to seeing you there. Also, very, very, very extremely important. Please don't ever forget to do this. Like, subscribe, and share the show with your friends, your family, and your followers. Algorithm is key. Algorithm is key. If you want to get found, you need to mess with the algorithm. The best way to do that is to like, subscribe, and share the show. So please make sure that you are doing that. Plus, it's a great way to piss people off, you know, because our show is a particular flavor for people. So you might want to piss somebody. I do it to my sister all the time. I send her links to the show, screws up her algorithm on her phone, then she blocks me for a couple of days and lets me back in, you know, and then I just do it again. But that's the best way to do it. Just keep annoying people. You never know. You might give us a follower somewhere along the way. Be appreciative of that. All right? So very important. Like, subscribe, and share the show with your friends, your family, and your followers. All right. With that said, tonight's connection is brought to us courtesy of Creative Edge. Creative Edge, publicity at its finest for all creatives. Your brand, your future. All right. Well, tonight we'll be talking with Nicole Fronek. known professionally as the coach. Nicole has spent more than 20 years helping professionals navigate corporate America, working with Fortune 100 organizations, including CBRE, Chevron, HP, Citigroup, Marriott International, and others. She holds a master's degree in project management from the University of Liverpool, and is the author of Corporate Coach Approach, a systematic guide to career development. Now, we're going to be talking about promotions, office politics, personal branding, networking, and really what determines who gets ahead in today's workplace. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate being here.
This is going to be a lot of fun because, as you know, we've had several misfires here getting started today. So let's see what else is in store for us as the day progresses.
Yeah.
So this is your first time with us, and this is great. Love getting first timers, especially from the folks at Creative Edge, because like I told you before the show started, that the Creative Edge folks are some of the best interviews that we've had on this show. Just great quality people, human being wise, just great quality people, talented folks, and just spot on good people. So we look forward to having.
Yeah, Mickey assembled a great cast. We met at a book festival last year and we signed up. So really it's been a wonderful chance to get to know his group as well and meet folks like you along the way. So
yeah, Mickey's a great guy. He really is. I not too long ago, I interviewed another one of his, several, but more recently, Trisha Copeland. And she, of course, she spoke highly of Mickey as well. So great. He's just a great guy. I really enjoy talking to him when I do. I rarely do.
And we share a birthday, exactly. So it was a very fun fact when we met.
Oh, perfect. That's great. Fantastic. All right. So before you became the coach, what were you doing professionally? And what originally drew you into the corporate world?
Yes. Before the coach, I was an interior designer. I loved design from when I was very young, and I would torture my parents with pretend samples and books, and we would reorganize my room. And my father said, "Oh, Nicole, we just did your room last week." And I know, but I'm thinking I'd like to try the bed here. And when I was 13, I asked my parents for a subscription to Architectural Digest, as most 13-year-olds would do. And it just kind of went from there. But my father cleaned homes professionally in Beverly Hills and Malibu and all through California. And I would get to go to these beautiful homes. And I just thought, there's a career doing this? Okay, I love that. So I did that for quite a while, and it did carry me into the corporate world because I merged my project management skills with my eye for design and scale, and then it translated into really aesthetic presentations where some 20 years ago, you didn't have all the software that you had today. It was you had to really rely on your own creative capabilities to make a nice looking presentation. Sure. And a lot of folks took recognition of that. And so it kind of catapulted into more of a corporate environment, and I just kind of took to it naturally. So that was the original catalyst.
Wow, that's a great story too. I mean, and I would imagine, being exposed to the homes and the properties, especially in that particular part of the world, would give you a lot of insight into design and a lot of inspiration too. I mean, I may not agree with a lot of these celebrities and their, political views and whatnot, but still, some of them have pretty good taste.
Yes, and it was just what a world, and I was such a good guest that they would allow me to come. And sometimes they would ask for me to come because I was more well-behaved than, say, their grandchildren. So I thought, okay, all I have to do is be polite, and then I get to swim and have this wonderful food. And it was just really fun. But yeah, it was very inspirational to see these homes. And it was a lot of big celebrities, and I didn't even know who they were. I wasn't starstruck. I was so young. I just really was very curious about where they collected things. And it was items I had never seen, and they loved sharing their stories. And it just translated all the way through. And it's an expensive hobby. There's a lot of ladies that like to have fashion and jewelry and bags. I'm like, ooh, can I get that vintage? And oh, where's that leather from? And it's just a curse. It's a blessing and a curse.
I get you. Yeah. So do you get starstruck now?
I don't, because then I worked in Beverly Hills for some years, and it just became They're just individuals. And it really was a nice way when I got into corporate and started working with C-suite, because a lot of people were very intimidated when there was a very corporate senior person. And I thought, they're an individual that needs your support. They need to have a conversation. And I just kind of translated that thought where we're a person, we're all people, let's help each other out. Let's see what the root cause of the situation or whatever the case might be. But chemistry was really key. I would get not starstruck, but if they were really kind and I had heard a lot of wonderful things, I really genuinely wanted to get to know them. So if it was kind and there was an opportunity, I might ask them a question, but usually I just let them go about their business. But yeah, there was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in the elevator one time, and I got in the elevator and I said, so yeah, how are you today? And we just started chatting, and I didn't even mention his height. And he said, you're maybe one of the first people that have not mentioned my height. I said, well, I'm sure you get it all the time, and you probably don't want to talk about that anymore. But so it was just interesting. You never know what you were going to see or who you might run into.
That's very true. In my previous life, I worked for New York City, and some of the things that I had to do involved, being around celebrities, whether it's a security detail or an event or something along those lines. And I would watch my colleagues get all dumbstruck every time somebody would walk through. I remember one time the mayor came in, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, there's the mayor!" So what? He goes to the bathroom just like you do. It's like, what's the problem?
Respectful and kind, but I was actually more interested in the set design or what they were filming or how they had the creative vision or the storyboard. So I would usually ask a lot of questions about that from design. And sometimes they would think I was part of the not the cast, but the production crew, because I was just so immediately involved and integrated and asking questions. And I thought, well, I wonder if I could get a badge. Like, that would be really cool.
That would be neat, right? For sure. Yeah. So you spent years working with major corporations.
Yes.
What did those experiences teach you that most employees never see?
Most employees never see or maybe realize that regardless how large it is, mom and pop, or all the way to Fortune 10, the same questions and the same concerns, they always arise. It's very challenging for the person in charge, perhaps, to make a decision. And maybe the reason why is they don't have the authority you think they have. And so as you start getting higher up and closer to the C-suite and the executives, you start realizing why they're not making the choices. And then you can kind of, deconstruct and then work forward and backwards. So yeah, that's one area where I think a lot of people just assume because they're sitting in a certain particular chair or have a role, they can make that decision. And then they're always confused why they don't make it quicker. There's a lot involved, and a lot of folks, they have to still get buy-in and approval. And it's a much deeper conversation than you might realize. So.
Well, I'm sure it is. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. Everybody has a boss.
Everybody has a boss. Yeah.
Everybody has somebody to answer to, and it may not, It could be a board of directors. It could be shareholders that they have to go to, especially at the higher levels in a corporation. There are other factors involved. You can't just make that snap decision.
Yes.
Absolutely. So was there a specific moment when you realized that you wanted to help people navigate their careers rather than simply manage your own?
I did, because I saw so many folks were asking patterns and questions. They have the same questions over and over. And I thought, even with all of this information out there today, the questions were so specific and a lot of them were getting very unique, but there was still patterns. So I thought, I would love to get this information out there and broader and really help them tailor the conversation to how they are going to go on their career path, because I was working with a lot of different individuals or seeing a lot of different coaching programs where it was very structured, and it had, in my opinion, it was too formal. And I thought, it really has to be tailored for the individual. It's a cheesy, but one size fit all. There just can't be. It has to really be adaptive to them. And I was very good about us responding and creating it with them. And I think they really appreciated that. So from those kind of initial betas, if you would like to call them that, I thought maybe I'll go this route and give it a shot. And it's been a wonderful, I would say, about 3 years. We founded the company in 2023. So it goes quick. It really does.
Oh, I'm sure it does, especially when you're busy and it's that old saying, time flies when you're having fun. Well, time flies when you're working too,
Yeah.
and
If you enjoy really, and where you're
yeah,
working so many hours, so right, you should enjoy it at least a little bit, and especially those you're working with. And
right.
it's really gratifying when they say, "Oh, I applied that technique we spoke about," or "Oh, that one chapter in your book," or "Oh, that sentence, it really struck with me," or I didn't quite understand the context yet, and then I saw it in action, and now it clicks. So it's really fun to hear from the readers after, or those that I've mentored or coached or worked with. I've had a lot of folks come back to me and say, "Oh, I didn't even realize you wrote a book," and so then we have conversations about that. So it's been every conversation has been so transformative in understanding how I've helped them along the way, and that's really gratifying.
I'm sure it is. Get feedback like that has to be, and it makes it when you see the results of it, it makes it more real to you that you've actually succeeded in helping somebody along the way.
Yes, and too, I always wonder too. I would love to have a mentor. I would love to have someone that I could maybe partner with. And so having these different conversations with folks and joining different networks within my peer group, that's been really nice as well. So you can always learn from somebody, and you never know where those conversations will go. I
agree with you 100%. Now, you worked in communications, project management, coaching, consulting. How did those pieces come together into what you do today?
Every role I've had has challenged me in a different area, and they all came together because if you're not able to communicate your vision or what you would like to see or the expectations that you have, it makes for a very challenging environment later. So the communication, to be 100% fair, I do not care for math and science. It wasn't my strong suits. So I went to college much later in life after having these initial experiences. And I went to the counselor and I said, I project management, here's my expectations, here's what I like to do, here's my strengths, what do you recommend? And they said, you should take communications, and specifically journalism and mass media. And I thought, oh, so we have these conversations, and it kind of just was like filling out a bingo card. And then transferred to the project management at University of Liverpool because of COVID, and was looking for online programming. And that was a really wonderful opportunity as well. So it just kind of happened. It just kind of happened a little naturally, and then adjusting and course correcting along the way as I was getting feedback and seeing what made the most sense going forward.
Yeah. Well, you answered my next question.
Okay.
I was going to ask you how you ended up in Liverpool.
Good day. Yeah. No, that's how. Yeah. And it was really interesting, because here in the States, you do your dissertation for your doctorate. There, you do a dissertation for your master's. So when I was explaining it to folks, I was doing a dissertation. Wait, I didn't even know you finished your master's yet. And so then we had this conversation, and it was 18,000 words. And so then from that situation, I thought, well, I might as well write a book. It's only 10,000 more. I'm already more than halfway there. So I was already well trained and seasoned and used to sitting at the computer for too many hours a day, but with my stretches and my ergonomics and my sit-stand desk, because otherwise, it would be terrible. And so I just kept going right from my master's right into writing the book. And that was the best thing I could have done. And I'm glad I did that in that progress.
That's wild.
Yep.
Now, so is the book based off of your dissertation, or is it two separate things?
Two separate things. It was just the act of having that experience, to write that long and that process. And so I thought, well, I was talking with my business partner, and I said, maybe I should just write a book. I get these common questions, particular questions, patterns from those I'm working with. Yeah, I think you should. And I said, okay, I will. Will you please edit it? Because that's going to be, the stories, the background. It will just be so much cleaner and faster. And so it was a really good experience there as well. But that's how that kind of came about. I just went right to it. So
that's awesome. Can I ask what your dissertation was on?
Yeah, it was on the blue collar workforce, and how we're sunsetting. A lot of the trades are going into their sunset in their careers, and how the new folks coming on board have to have a more technology-based background because of all the smart apps. And so it's this conversation about the trades and how some folks are pro and con, and some people don't want to be in the field any longer. And some folks have a much different expectation of what that is concerned about. And now with AI, a lot of folks are saying, oh, shoot, maybe I should have gone into MEP or mechanic engineering plumbing. So it's very interesting how it's shifted yet again, how now it's more popular for some folks because of they're worried they're going to have AI replace them in at more of a desk job. So it was a very interesting context. And I selected that topic because at the time working with Chevron, I was doing program management and doing HVAC and rooftop unit replacements and working with the trades as far as crane lift oversight. And it really gave a different perspective. So I really thought that could be a nice way to have that dissertation, because I had a lot of content. It was fresh in my mind. I was working through it every single day, and it really was a nice way to integrate with the trades and get that extra credibility. It's like, well, why are you here? You know, all 5'2" and 110 pounds. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to drive the crane? I'm like, well, maybe I will. I know.
And something tells me you probably could and you would.
I did drive a semi truck once for about 400 feet, and it looked like I was maybe on a bucking bull. So we scrapped that, but it at least was like a bucket list check that I didn't even know I had.
Well, you have to get used to because they're manuals, so you have to get used to that. So that's the way it works. I'm not great at manual driving anyway, so I'm not going to even comment on it. So looking back over your career, what mistake taught you the most?
The mistake that taught me the most is writing too formally, too much, too frequent, really dialing down the communications. And when I took that journalism course in my undergrad, it was the moment, it was the total catalyst for the way I write and communicate with others. And so much so, there's an entire chapter in the book, Write Like a Journalist, and it's the specific mindset of economical writing. And that completely transformed so many things. And it has served me well, because you go to these presentations, it's an 80-page pitch deck. They tell you every nut and bolt. And then at the end, they tell you what they need, what they want. I'm not listening anymore. The executives are not listening anymore. What do you need to tell them? What do they need to know? What decision do they need to make? And do you have enough time to go over the rest? And if not, get what you need and move on.
Now, everybody says that hard work gets rewarded. I'm sure you've heard that. I've heard that my entire life. You've been inside, and you've seen inside major corporations. So the question is, how true is that really?
Hard work gets you more hard work. That is the best way I can describe it. You're smiling, you're nodding. Yes. That is a fallacy. I provide quality work. High quality, white glove, 5-star, 10-star, whatever the scale is. Folks are going to remember how you make them feel, and are you reliable? Are you accountable? You can work 80 hours a week, and the person sitting next to you that made their boss shine in a moment where they were not prepared, it's just the way it is. So yes, I don't discourage hard work at all, nor I know you've not either. But at some point, what is, to your comment earlier, sustainable? Are you going to burn yourself out where there's no longer quality? And then it doesn't matter how hard you work, and you're just going to burn out, and it's not going to be worth it. So I would say provide high quality and work to your strengths and really shine when that's going to be visible.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And I do agree with you. And I've seen it. I've worked both in public sector and private sector work over my career. And I've definitely seen that play out. You could kill yourself, again, like you said, 80-hour a week, and that one moment that somebody else did something, even though they may not even put the hours in you do, they may not be as committed as you are, they just may have had the right answer at the right moment. They get the recognition, they get the star, they get the shine, and it can be discouraging.
It can be discouraging, and I've learned the hard way. I've got all the stripes. I've been through the whole process, and I used to. And what happened was they had layoffs, and you're barcode and you're gone. It doesn't matter how hard you've worked. You really have to stand out for the right reasons and be visible at the right time. And that's what I really encourage anyone I coach, work, executive training, leadership, friends, family, whoever will listen, whoever asks. That is where it's really key. And I remind myself daily, because I want to do everything too. Oh, should I do this? Should I do this? Okay, no, let's tailor it down. Let's really focus. And where is it going to make the most sense and be the most value for that time I'm going to spend? What's the ROI on that activity?
Yeah, and that's a phrase that I think a lot of more people need to understand, the ROI and things, because if you're not willing to put the work in, you're not willing to do the job, you're not willing to commit yourself to it, and give it your best. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you got to put your best at it.
Your best, yep.
Then you'll see that return on investment. Absolutely, I agree. Absolutely. So you also talk a lot about personal branding. Why does that matter if someone's work should speak for themselves? Speak for itself, excuse me.
Yes, because then others know what to expect from you. They are already understanding what I'm going to get, how I'm going to get it. It's going to answer and eliminate questions. So they know if they're going to have a good chemistry with you, how to work together for the most success for both sides, right? And brand, I think a lot of people shortchange themselves. They consider it a luxury. Oh, I'll get to it later. I'll have time later. There is no such thing. We all have the same amount of time. You're not going to get time. You have to make time. And I put it as chapter 1, but you can read the book in any order. But I just kindly ask that you read chapter 1 first, because it should resonate in all the other qualities throughout your day, your efforts, the work that you provide, your productivity. And it really triggers the idea of your characteristics, your strengths, but what you would like others to understand about you. Because reputations are inherited, right? There's nothing you can really do to guide that as much as you can to brand. Brand is more, as you are familiar, like product placement, what you want others to think of you, to know of you, to expect from you. So that's really what you have to message and be consistent once it's established. That's very key too.
Absolutely. And it's funny. I had to look up something when you were talking about time. I don't know what your musical preferences are, but there's a great song that is put out by Pink Floyd called "Time." It's off of their Dark Side of the Moon album.
Yes.
And are you familiar with it?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
and
so
I love classic rock. And pretty much any hair band that you can throw out, I probably know it by heart. I might not know the artist, but I'll know it by heart. But yeah, I love Pink Floyd, and that's a wonderful band. I never did get to see them, but they are fantastic.
Okay, so then you know the song I'm talking about. Yes. Tired of lying in the sunshine, staying home to watch the rain. You are young and life is long, and there is time to kill today.
I do make time to kill. Yes.
Yeah, but then it goes on. It goes on to say, and then one day you find 10 years have got behind you. No one told you when to run. You've missed the starting gun. That's profound. And I don't know, it just, when you mentioned time, that, of making time or getting time, that just popped in my head. I don't know how relevant it is to the conversation, but that just popped in my head at that moment. So
then it is. If that inspired you, I love it. That's perfect.
Had to take a moment to go look that up.
Wonderful.
So, because I did that once before with another guest. We were talking about Pink Floyd songs, and I mangled the lyrics, and somebody sent me an email correcting me. So it was a gentle admonishment. So I appreciated that. Yes. It was very good.
It's timely too, because we did karaoke last night, and I haven't done karaoke in a good 15, 20 years, because I don't fancy myself a very songstress, if you will. I have a nice phone voice. I have a nice podcast voice, but I didn't really think I was too musically inclined. And I got a lot of compliments from strangers. So I think I did pretty good. And I did Dreams by Fleetwood Mac, which I grew up listening to. My father had the big orange van and all the 8 tracks, and I could sing every Cat Stevens and Fleetwood Mac song. And my friends thought I was a total lunatic and very strange, but it made for a very good karaoke, and you can see people really enjoying it, and that made me very happy. I read the room. I said, this seems like a 70s crowd. Let me pull out some Stevie, and we'll see what happens. And people were very pleased with my choice. It felt good. Yes. Yeah, I'm not a huge Fleetwood Mac fan. I like some of their stuff. I'm not a huge fan. Like if it's on, I'll jam to it. But I wouldn't say, oh, I want to hear this song by Fleetwood Mac today. I wouldn't do that. But Cat Stevens, I love Cat Stevens. I think he's great. Yes. And I love all that stuff. But we're off on a tangent. Now, you mentioned podcasts. Do you have a podcast of your own? I do not have one of my own. You should. I have gotten that feedback many, many, many times. And I thought, I think I rather, though, enjoy the variety of being with so many others, which I don't know if I'd have the same exposure. And I want to have a balance with back to time, like how much time could I dedicate to it when everyone is doing such a great job with it? Maybe I just enhance and support them and get the variety in that regard. So
it's a very, very political response. That's great.
But it's honest. I really
No,
don't.
I know it is. I can tell it is. But
it's a lot of work. It's a lot of effort.
It
I
is.
respect and appreciate, but I know it's a very large time commitment. And I feel like I get the benefit of just popping in and being cool and saying hi and peace out. We'll catch you next time. But yeah, a lot of folks have asked that I do so. And what I might do is do an audiobook instead to see how
that'd be
goes.
interesting.
That could be fun. And then maybe down the road.
Yeah, well, think about it. I think the material that you have would be perfect for a podcast. And it doesn't have to. I'm going to go into programming mode now.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be an hour-long thing. I've seen some podcast episodes, particularly about the subject that we're talking about, that are 8 to 10 minutes long.
Yeah.
Just
like micro sessions or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that might be something to consider. I don't know. I can't do an 8 to 10 minute podcast because I never shut up. So it never fails. I have a hard time just doing an hour now. When I first started doing podcasts, I would do 2 and 3 hour shows every night.
Oh,
So yeah,
that's a lot.
It burns you out. Unsustainable.
Yeah.
Unsustainable. Now, how much of a career, just to get back to where we're supposed to be here?
Well, it's your show. We can talk about whatever you like.
Because, well, it's our show. It could, we went off a little bit of a rabbit trail there. Yes, and that's my philosophy. When I have guests on the show, it's not just my show; it's our show. So,
Glad to collaborate today.
there you go. Collabs. That's the big word today. Collabs. We're going to collab.
Oh, collabs. Oh, is that?
Yeah.
I haven't heard that one. I thought we were
Collabs.
still deep diving.
No, we're not the deep dive. But the deep dive is that's a 2-hour show. We're collabs.
We're collabs. Okay.
Yeah. So, how much of a career success? How much of career success is skill, and how much of it is relationship management?
Ooh. The good Libra in me will say 50-50, because you need to have that chemistry, connection, trust with whoever you're collabing with, because then if they don't, it doesn't matter how great your skill set is, they might not listen, watch, pay attention, or take it to heart, take it to mind, whatever the case might be. So I'm going to say a good 50-50.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm not sure about that myself, to be honest. Although it does kind of lean towards, it's not what you know, but who you know.
It is.
I see a lot of that.
It is too. And then also timing. Back to the time. This is the theme of the show. Because you might have a wonderful friend who has a wonderful role for you and they can't get the budget from the client at that moment in time. Or you might be moving, or there might be some change in your life where you can't say yes when you really want to. So it is who you know, what you know, and it has to be the perfect time. It's this whole trifecta. So
That's good.
that part you can't control. You might be able to guide it, but certainly that's where I think I'm still gonna hold to my 50-50, but my collab partner, if you're more like a 70-30, 60-40, whatever split you like, whatever feels good in the moment. But I have just seen so many folks be so strong and capable, and their hard skills are impeccable, but you put them in front of a camera, you put them in front of a room, and they just cannot speak. They don't have the awareness, or they're not reading the room. Is the client shifting in their seat a lot? Is the conversation waning? Are people hungry? So you have to maybe just cut your presentation short, even if it's amazing, and even if I haven't gotten to the best slide yet. Read the room, do a break, do a pause, and some folks don't have that, and then you just see everyone just like, oh, I can't do it anymore. So
when they start counting ceiling tiles.
Yes, you're done. Or the pen's like, okay, we're done. Get to the point. Move on.
Yeah.
Move on.
Actually, where's my pen? I don't know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All right, bye. See you later.
And I'm out of here.
And I'm out. Keep your wages.
Leave on a high note, right?
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
So, but I agree with you though. That was a great point though. It's the trifecta. That's really important. There is more than just it's more than just a two-sided argument. There is actually that third element, and you said it. Time. It's perfect. So, what do you think what's the biggest piece of career advice that's commonly repeated but wrong?
Commonly repeated but wrong. I think we spoke about it earlier. Working hard, working longer, staying there as long as your boss is there. Always trying to say yes and not being able to deliver. So all of those elements of just doing too much when it's not appropriate, when it's not going to be recognized, or it's not going to be a high quality product, that's just going to deteriorate your personal brand to what you're known for.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point too. I agree with that. What I try to do is, because right now, like I said earlier, I worked in the public sector. Right now, my day job, I work in the private sector. And I noticed that there is, obviously there is a difference working between public and private sector. I mean, private sector, they actually expect results and things. Public sector, they don't.
Yes.
It's pretty much.
There's a weekly accountability. I have a lot of folks that say, I have to do a report. What is this? And that's very
well,
common.
one of the things that I've tried to do since I started working in the private sector is change my language, change how I express where I am to meet expectations. So, in other words, for example, if my boss came to me and said X, Y, and Z, whatever it is you're working on, I need to. Where are you on this? I'm working on it. I'm not saying I'm trying to get it done. I'm not saying I'm always showing that I'm actively pursuing the expectation, and I am. I'm not like I don't just say it because just to get them off my back.
Yes,
I'm legitimately working on it, and so I try to those subtle little changes in language and how you express it, means an awful lot.
Yes,
words mean things.
Yes, absolutely. And you've just inspired me for additional advice that I'm going to give right now. If this is the only moment you listen to the show, do not say TBD and do not say, oh, I will circle back. Have an answer, even if it's approximately 25%. How far complete are you? Approximately 25. When am I going to have that? Give them a quarter, Q1, Q2. Give them some time frame. Because likely 50-50, scope's going to change, something's going to differ, you're going to be given more time anyway, and everything's going to shift. But at least then they have confidence, understanding to your point, that it is going forward, it is working, because they have someone they have to report to. And if you tell them, oh, TBD, they can't go to their boss and say that.
No.
Or they're going to find someone else who has an answer, and then guess what? That person's going to get the star and the shine and the bump up.
Right, and it goes right back to what we said earlier. Everybody has a boss that they report to.
Yes.
So, for example, if I went to the people that report to me and I said, I need to know where we are in this, and if they gave me something, a TBD or something like that, how do I go to my boss and say,
Correct.
Well, they're telling me, they need a more definitive answer than that. That's incredibly important. And to your point, give them an estimate. I usually try to say, I'm working to get it done today, but if I can't get it done today, it'll be done by tomorrow morning at the latest.
Yep. Under promise, over deliver.
Right. Exactly.
Yep.
That's why Scotty in Star Trek is called the miracle worker, because he always multiplied his repair estimates by a factor of 4.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Give yourself that cushion, give yourself that padding, but that comes to knowing your skill set, knowing your strengths, and maybe who is stronger in something than you are. And you can tap on them and say, hey, could you help me with this, that, and the other? And go from there. So back to your relationships and your networking and all of those elements, those different soft skills.
It all works together.
It all works together.
It all does.
Yes.
So let's get to your book. Let's talk about your book for a little bit, because I'm watching the clock here. So corporate coach approach. Tell us about that.
Yes. This came to you before 20 years of my experience with corporate America, Fortune 10, hundreds, and really I was seeing such significant patterns regardless of the size of the company, the industry, the sector. And so this book really came to fruition from those experiences, because I learned the hard way. I had to learn through trial and error. And I thought, would be such a nice way if there was a book that was concise, consolidated, quick to read. I could get what I need the moment I need it. I don't want to read 5 chapters to find at the end the question that I had. So it's structured. You can read any chapter you like. You can jump in, you can jump out. And at the end of every chapter, I have a best practice that if that's all you have time for, read that list And you might not get promoted, you might not get fired, but you might at least just get by at that moment if that's what you needed.
Oh, that's interesting. No wonder you said start with chapter 1.
Yes, yes.
Now that makes, I had the aha moment there.
Yes.
When you said you could just, jump into this chat, I don't know if you saw it, but the aha moment.
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
Because I like that idea of giving flexibility. Part of my brand is being adaptive. And I really like folks to be able to get what they need, what is going to resonate at that moment. Because I literally had a boss come to me and say, let's just say Joe, because I'm looking at your name. Joe is not going to be here today. He's not feeling well. I need you to do the presentation. I had never seen the presentation. I didn't even know we had a presentation that day. So it was just coming into these moments where, wow, if there would have been this quick book, I could have just done a quick reference. That would have been fantastic. And I just wasn't finding, there's so much material out there on corporate training, executive coaching, career development, but I hadn't found one that partnered all of that information so consolidated manner that you could just hop in and hop out. And that's the part of the artwork on the front of the cover, which my business partner came up with. And I said, oh, I love that concept. I wish that would have been mine. I'm so jealous. But we have a scale. One side of the scale has a stack of books. And then the other side of the scale is just this book. And it really gives that idea that you can read all of that. It's great information, but maybe this can just be your go-to guide and give you what you need.
Yeah. So is that the reason why you decided to write the book instead of just doing the coaching, one-to-one?
Yes, actually, the coaching came after the book. So it was really, I did not intend to really do executive coaching at that level. But then when I was writing the book, I thought, well, this is quite nice. And people kept calling me the coach. And I thought, well, I'll just partner them together. So it was really nice. We had this workshops, and then we worked through each chapter as workshops. And then it just kind of formed into this service offering of executive coaching. I just let it go, let it roll. Let's see where it leads. And it worked out quite nice. But it was more of like a friendly mentorship. And that's where my colleagues and those I worked with and for, and clients as well, started relying on me, because I could always give them some sort of answer, or at least connect them with somebody who had that expertise. And that really meant a lot to them, because I wouldn't try to make something up. I said, I will find out. Or, ooh, this person's going to be fantastic. Let me connect you with them. We can do 5 minutes. How much time do you have? How important is it? When is it due? And then I would go and find some solution for them. And it just really worked out nicely, where they would come to me. I have a meeting tomorrow. Can you give me some coaching on my presentation? And I will give them the truth. And they know that.
Yeah. And that's a great. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step on you.
No, not at all. I just say very constructive, because a lot of people don't want to tell you. They just don't. And that's not helpful.
And what you said, though, as far as, how much time do you have, is a really good metric to determine just how serious somebody is about what you're working on with them. Mm-hmm. Because they're putting a time value. So how much time are they willing to spend on making whatever improvement is in place? And that you can really tell where their mental process is in their own career development that way.
Right.
Because you're not willing to spend 10 minutes in a phone call to improve something for yourself in your career, then really, where are you?
Right. And then it's ROI. I have so much time as well that I'm going to make and keep, because I got to kill some later in that hammock watching that sunset.
There you go. Sipping the whiskey.
Yeah, sipping the whiskey.
Absolutely. Now, you also describe career growth as a systematic process. So what does that mean in actual, like, practical, real world terms?
I would say it's not going to happen quickly, and you cannot shortcut. You really have to build on your skills and get that exposure. I know a lot of people, I'm going to get this amazing job and I'm going to be a senior leader. You might, but how successful you're going to be for how long? Very often you're going to fail, and that's going to deteriorate your personal brand and maybe lead you on a whole different path that is not going to be as successful or productive. So I'd say it's continuous improvement of yourself, being patient, fail fast, and then really take it to heart and reflect, like, ooh, I'm going to do this because that didn't work. And this person showed me this. And it's just this constant growth. So I would say, from a realistic perspective, it's a continuous improvement process that you are going to improve every single day a little bit, if you really treat it with that respect and just know it's going to take some time. So be patient.
Yeah, that's a great point too. Now, say for example, somebody has a personal brand that has been tarnished. is it realistic to for that person to be able to, or is there a realistic time period for that person to be able to rebrand themselves and get back on track and change the perception that others have of them because of that tarnished personal brand?
Say it depends on the severity, right? Like what exactly happened. You can always guide your brand, but that's up to you. You have to market and message your brand the way that you want to be known for, but it would depend on the severity and what kind of collateral damage happened. What was the instance? What was the impact? I certainly think you should always keep in mind you have to try. You have to go forward. You have to course correct and take it from there. But is there a specific time? No. Every situation is going to vary, but you certainly can't do anything and expect it to change. You can't hope. You can't have hope. You've got to try. You've got to actually put some elbow grease into it.
Sure. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people kind of just throw their hands up though and just say, "Oh well, yeah,
whatever." They're going to think whatever they want. They're going to believe whatever they want. And guess what? You do not want other people to believe and think whatever they want. That is going to be detrimental for you, even in your personal career, or personal as well as your professional. So,
I think people say that because it makes them seem like they're tough and they can take whatever comes their way, and that's not necessarily the truth.
Yeah. I think they're just shortchanging themselves, and folks will see that.
Yeah, believe what you want. I don't care.
Yeah.
That doesn't always bode well.
No. Good question. Yeah. Really something you can reflect on for, to your point, 2-3 hours, easy.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. So in the book, which chapter tends to surprise readers the most?
Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is a very fun chapter because we've all been on that conference call where there's 100 people and it takes 15 minutes to get everybody to share their screen, do all of the things. And it just is a really fun chapter, a bit of comic relief because it happens in corporate world. And so that was a fun chapter to write and to reflect on and give you kind of a break. And chapter 3, I think, is really unexpected because a lot of individuals so far that I've spoken with don't expect to see anything about journalism in a career development book. Yeah. But if you read those chapters 1, 3, and 5, those have been the most well received and most surprising.
So when was the book released?
Just last June, so 1 year.
So a year ago. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, a year ago.
Now, if somebody's reading the book and implements only one lesson out of the entire book, which lesson gives them the biggest return?
Developing and maintaining your personal brand. It's so key. It is really important. And a lot of folks they confuse it with reputation and don't make the time to message it consistently and keep up on it, monitor it, make sure it still fits and reflects your style and your quality of work and what others are seeing from you. That's really a key element.
Now, say for example, we have somebody listening right now or watching right now, mid-30s, corporate career, feels stuck, underappreciated, not sure where their career is going to be going. What's the first thing that you would tell them to do tomorrow morning?
Ask who they can job shadow. Find out what it's like the day in the life of. Right? You've heard this sentence before. Work with others in different fields, different industries, different roles, and see what you respond to. You might be surprised. And then you can get an idea of what might be a good path forward. And I've done that myself. And it's been really like immediately, ooh, no, this is not for me. Or, oh, I hadn't thought about that. That's really cool. I really like that. Tell me more about it. And then take a course in that, maybe at a JC or online now. There's so many different options. Or interview someone that has really accelerated in that role or field or industry and see if it makes sense for you.
That's great advice. That really is. That's fantastic. And sometimes I think, well, since I've been working in the private sector now for the last 10 years, I've actually seen that in practice. And I don't know if people realize that that's what they did.
Maybe not. It could have been recommended to them and they didn't realize, or it might be part of their corporate training path, depending what organization they work for. It's called personal development or their KPIs, whatever the case might be. But it really is up to you to monitor and have your career path. A lot of folks too, there's a fallacy that, oh, my manager will take care of my career path. Oh, my manager will have me promoted. They will support my growth. No, your manager cannot and should not care about your career more than you. And a lot of folks think that they should, and they do. No, it is not their job. If you want a one-on-one with your manager, set it up at a good time for them. Good time of the day, good time of the week, good time of the month, whatever the case might be. Read the room. If they're cranky in the morning, that's not when you want to talk to them. You want to get a yes. You want to get a happy call. You have it when it's good for them, and you adapt. And so if I have a boss that likes to talk early, I have an extra coffee, whatever the case might be. And so adapt and really understand, and part of your career path is experiment, see what you like. There are so many options now, more readily available and accessible than there was when I started 20 such years ago. I would just go up to people, hey, what are you working on? Can you show me for 15 minutes? And it doesn't have to be this extreme deep conversation. Just get a feel and then take it from there. And don't exhaust them. Don't ask the same person all the time for the same things. They're going to get volunteer fatigue, if you will. Like, maybe decide who else you can speak with.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean too. And I agree with you that the manager's job is not really the manager's worried about his own career. Yes. Or her own career. They're not there to babysit you. They have advancement goals themselves that they're working towards, and to babysit the person under them or working under them is not really in that regard for career growth. I'm saying, in some ways you are babysitting the people you're working with, but that's not that manager's primary goal to make you advance, because they're looking to advance for themselves.
Yeah. Here's a pro tip. Help them get advanced, and then you're going to advance with them, right?
Yeah.
Figure out how to get them promoted, make them look good. And if they're kind and they don't take all the credit and they don't push you to the side, because then that's part of their brand, and shame on you the first time and shame on me the second. But if you help others and just make them look great, typically they're not going to forget that. Yeah,
I know. As a matter of fact, when I worked in the public sector, and I was in a management position in the public sector, I had one of my managers tell me that I need to stop giving credit to the people that work under me and need to learn how to start taking credit for the success on my own. And I was like, okay, well, but I just facilitated that the job got done. They actually did the work, so I want to give them the credit for doing the work.
Yes.
But I don't know, maybe that flies in the face.
Do you know where that manager is today, out of curiosity?
Retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
A requested retirement? Who knows?
Oh, no. He
Full retirement.
I think he finished his city service like 35 plus years.
Got it.
So.
Yeah.
But,
be proud if you've done something. Yeah, take some credit, but share. There's plenty. There's the scarcity mindset, right? There's plenty of ways to both showcase that you were a part of it. But I always have found in my experience that you receive more credit when you're giving the credit, because people acknowledge and see. And there's going to be those different conversations too. So it's always interesting when you hear that feedback in so many different variety, so many different ways. Yeah,
exactly. Well, Nicole, this has been great. We're up against the clock here. So one more question for you.
Yes.
Who is someone that you respect right now, and what are they doing that inspires you?
I would say my very good friend, Christina. She is uncomfortable in her roles, and she is growing exponentially, and just saying yes and adapting and learning. And I really appreciate that, because it is tough when you're comfortable somewhere to go and try something new and try something different. And she's been a really instrumental person in my career and very supportive of the company and the book and everything that I'm doing. So I want to give her a shout out, Christina. You're doing fantastic. Keep going. It is a lot. I know there's a lot happening every single day, but just keep plugging along. You fail fast, continuous improvement, and everyone's rooting for you over at Citigroup Productions.
Outstanding. All right. So, Nicole, where can folks go to find out more about you and about your work and get your book?
Yes, so Two Horse Productions. We are online, of course, www. And then also Instagram, we are Two Horse Productions 605. Very important, because there is a Two Horse Productions that are some DJs in Kansas, and they're getting a lot of publicity from this, all of these podcasts. Also at Corporate Coach Approach, there's that Instagram handle, and the book is available on Amazon as well as Barnes & Noble.
Outstanding. Well, Nicole, thank you for this. This was fantastic, and actually, I got a few things out of this for myself, my own career. So, this was a treat. I really do appreciate you taking the time to be with us tonight. And I'm going to put you backstage, and if you want to hang out there for a second until I wrap this baby up, and then I'll come back and we'll touch base.
Perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, Nicole Fronek, thank you so much. Again, appreciate you.
Thank you.
See you in a bit. All right, folks. Well, every guest that we've had on this show is a remarkable experience, to be honest. I'm not just saying that. That's the truth. My goal every time we host is to be able to take something away from myself and learn something from myself. And like always, I did today. One thing that really stood out during the conversation is that success rarely happens by accident. Whether you're building a career, running a business, raising a family, pursuing a personal goal, the people who consistently move forward usually aren't only relying on their luck. All right? So just keep that in mind. So my thanks to Nicole for joining us tonight, and thank you for tuning in and checking out the show tonight. Just want to give our usual shout-outs to our producing team, executive producers Wayne Rankin, Rosanna Rankin, Carolina Jimenez, Angela Watuski, and John Seeley. These folks donate their time, their talent, and their treasure to help put this show together, and we couldn't really do a lot of it without them. So if you are interested in finding out more ways of how you can help support the show and keep us all moving here, just head over to the website, joerooz.com/support. That's joerooz.com/support. You will find all the different ways you can do that, whether it's a one-time donation in any amount, a recurring donation in any amount, or you sign up as one of our producers, our associate producer, or a producer, or an executive producer. Everything is listed right there for you. All the producers get the shout out on every show. They get included in all the show notes. And on top of that, we are waiting and pending our application approval on IMDb, which basically means that once the show is listed on IMDb, all these folks that are I've just run off to you that have been helping support the show as producers all get an official credential through IMDb as a producer. And you can actually use that on your resume if you like. I don't know where it's going to take you, but you can use it on your resume if you like. So once that gets approved, we'll be really happy to make that official announcement. But that's what we do for you, and we appreciate all the support we get from everybody. The likes, the follows, the shares, all that stuff really helps us out, and we greatly appreciate all the support that we've been getting. And again, if you like, you can check out the website, joerooz.com/support, joerooz.com/support. All right. I think that should just about do it for tonight. Folks, thanks again. Really appreciate you guys being here. Again, thanks to our guest, Nicole Fronek. Really appreciate valuable information. Don't forget to head out to the website, joerooz.com. Send us over a message. Let us know what you think. Any questions, comments, cares, concerns, send them on over. And folks, don't forget, let's make Texas independent again. Go podcasting. Keep a steady stride. And more importantly, folks, keep talking. We will see you next time. Good night, folks.